Romesh Srivastav here, Editor-in-Chief, SightsIn Plus. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Please do subscribe this for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs. Today, I'm going to share with you a report, and this is based on hiring trends in India in the first quarter of financial year 24. Means that is from 1st April to June 30th this year, 2023. This report is released by the TeamLease recently, and this is called as intent to hire, or you can say statistics for the first quarter of financial year 24. It covers around 809 small, medium, and large companies across 23 sectors in India. So now if you look at the trends, intent to hire in the first quarter of financial year 2024, so there is a decline of 4% in the intent of hiring in the first quarter of financial year 24 if we compare with the fourth quarter of the financial year 23, means from January to March 2023. If you look at the rating wise, so in the first quarter, this should be 64%, and in the previous quarter, it was 68%. If you look at the reasons, what are the reasons behind this cut? So some global economic uncertainties, some changing investment dynamics because of this recession part, and some precautionary measure taken by the businesses. However, if we compare the first quarter of financial year 2024 with the first quarter of financial year 2023, so there would be 10% higher intent of hiring. Means that is, there is an increase in the hiring if we compare with the last year. If we look at the jobs for the entry level and for the junior employees, so that is good. That is the outlook is strong for the entry level positions and for the junior level positions. And if we talk about the mid level positions, so that is balanced. So now look at the intent sector wise, and first let's talk about the service sector. According to report, there are two divisions. So one is the high intent and another is the moderate intent. So if we talk about the high intent in the service sector, then the telecommunication, there's a 96%, and if we talk about the financial services, that is the 93%. If we talk about the moderate intent in the service sector, so media and entertainment, that is the 56%, and in the travel and hospitality, that is the 44%. So telecommunication and financial services that will remain on the top in the service sector for the hiring in this current quarter of any first quarter of the financial year 2024. If you look at the manufacturing sector, so similarly, there are also two divisions in the manufacturing sector. One is the high intent and another is the moderate intent. So if you talk about the high intent in manufacturing sector, so healthcare and pharmaceutical, that is a 91%. And fast moving consumer goods, that is 89%. And if we talk about the low intent or moderate intent, you can say, then that is the power and energy, that is a 51%, and the textile, that is a 38%. So means healthcare and pharmaceutical companies and the FMCG companies, there would be good hiring in these two sectors you can see in the first quarter of financial year 2024. Now, if you look at the hiring trend in cities, you can say intent of hiring in cities. So the Mumbai, that is the for the financial services, that will remain on the top. Bangalore for the telecommunications hiring, that will remain on the top, and Delhi for the IT jobs, that will remain on the top. If we compare some of the cities with the previous quarter, so in Delhi, there would be 5% of rise in the job. If we look at the Mumbai, then there would be around 7% rise in the hiring. If we look at the Bangalore, so there is a dip in hiring. Earlier it was 97%, and in this quarter maybe the 89% there could be. If you look at the Chennai, so here also again the dip in hiring. So earlier it was 94%, and in this quarter maybe 84%. If you look at the Hyderabad, here again, there's a dip in hiring. So earlier it was 86%. Now that will be 77%. If we talk about the Pune, here again, the dip in hiring. So earlier it was 73%. Now it would be 68% in Pune. Kolkata, there is also dip in hiring. Earlier it was 58% and 53% that is expected for the first quarter of financial year 2024. So according to report, we can also have a comparison between the hiring intent in the first quarter of financial year 2023 and the hiring intent in the first quarter of financial year 2024. So if you look at the sectors, first let's talk about the service sector. So for the telecommunication, earlier it was 94%, now it is 96%. So that is the 2% of rise into this. If we talk about the financial sector, so earlier it was 88% and now this is 93%. So it's a 5% rise again. Economic e-commerce and allied startup, if we talk about, so earlier it was 98% and now it is 89%. So there's a dip of 9% here. IT, if we talk about, so earlier it was 94% and now it is 87%. So there is a dip of 7% in the IT sector. So if we compare with the last year, first quarter of the results, so there is a dip in hiring if we talk about the IT sectors. Retail sector, if we talk about, earlier it was 93% and now in the first quarter of financial year 2024, that is going to be 87%. So there is a 2% of rise into this. And for the other industries, you can have a look over the table which is being displayed on the screen. And now I'll move to the manufacturing sector if we talk about. So in manufacturing, if we talk about the healthcare and pharmaceuticals, so earlier it was 98% and now it is 91%. So there's a dip of 7% in hiring intent if we talk about. If we talk about fast moving consumer goods, so earlier it was 86%, now 89%. So if we look FMCG sector, so there's a rise there. We can see a rise in hiring of around 3% according to report. Electric vehicle and infrastructure sector, earlier it was 71%, now it is 73%. So there is a rise of 2%. In agriculture, earlier it was 69%, now it's a 64%. So there is a dip of 5%. Manufacturing, engineering, and infrastructure, earlier it was 65% in last year, and now in this first quarter, that is 62%. So there is a dip of 3%. Construction and real estate, earlier it was 51%, and this year, first quarter, that is 53%. So there's a rise of 2% in hiring if we talk about the construction and real estate. For the other sectors and industries, the table is being displayed on the screen. Please have a look. So if I try to conclude the overall report, so the first point is very important, that there is a 4% of decline in the hiring intent, in the intent of hiring if we compare with the last quarter, and if we compare with the last year with the first quarter, means the first quarter of financial year 2023 with the first quarter of financial year 2024. So there is a rise of 10%. There's an increase of 10% in hiring. IT, if we look at the IT sector, so there is a lot of noise about the IT sector. We can see that a lot of layoffs are going on into the IT sector and tech sectors. So definitely there's going to be a dip in hiring in the first quarter of financial year 2024. Thank you for watching the report, and please do share your feedback in comment section, and do let us know what you want to watch on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much.